Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
Right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined by my other host,
Karen.
or your other host, or the other host, Karen.
Me.
What is today's episode about, Karen?
The Ghost and Amon Amarth show at Northerly Island.
Yeah, here in Chicago. This is the Re-Imperatour. So we saw them with the Pre-Imperatour here in the Burbs in Rosemont. What's that called? Allstate Arena?
Allstate Arena, yeah.
And then we went up to
Green Bay
to see the Imperator. And now it's the third sort of iteration of this, the Re-Imperatour.
Yeah.
This time, as you said, with Amon Amarth at Northerly Island. The tickets for this were $179.50 with $33.27 in fees and then $21.01 in tax. See, like that. Now that's a tax rate that that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's what I would expect to pay in tax. Some of these other tickets we paid this year, like 15 cents, 12 cents, make no sense to me how that's like a tax rate, but whatever. All the fees and taxes are so fucking weird anyway. It's just weird. Like it's odd to me. I like tracking them, and it's odd to see it fluctuate so much. But yeah, this is an expensive fucking show.
It was very expensive compared to other shows that we've seen.
And just for comparison, I don't have the numbers for the Pre-Imperatour that we saw last year at the beginning of 2022. But for the Imperator in Green Bay, it was $99.50 plus a $15 fee. So let's not really consider the fee, basically $100 to see Ghost. At that show, we saw Spirit Box and
Carcass.
Carcass, right. It was supposed to be Mastodon, but I think they shifted to go to a festival.
They went to Louder Than Life, I think.
Yes, that's what it was. Right. And this was, September of last year.
Mm-hmm.
So almost a year later. And then a little bit later, we saw Amon Amarth here in Chicago for $39.50 in fees.
No. $39.50 for the ticket.
Yes, $16.28 in fees and $5.33 in tax. Yeah. So and $40.
To note that this is also a Live Nation venue that we went to, and Northerly Island is Live Nation as well.
Yeah, this was Aragon, the Resch Center up in Green Bay is where we saw Ghost.
But I don't think that's Live Nation.
I don't think that is either.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say for the prices and the fees and everything. So,
ticket price though for those two shows. $140. This was $170, and we didn't say the lineup for the Amon Amarth, but that was Amon Amarth, Carcass, Obituary, Kettle Decapitation.
Yeah, so you got four bands for
four
that
bands
price, for $40
for $40. So for $30 less, we got essentially the same show, the same two headliners with more openers.
Yeah,
because this was just the two bands, Ghost, Amon Amarth. Right. And they're supposed to be co-headlining is my understanding of how the tour was. At least that's what I thought it was.
But it's more like Amon Amarth open for Ghost.
Yeah, that's what it ended up being. It was, we'll get into the set list when we get there, but it was a little disappointing that it was such a short set. Yeah. What were you going to say about Northerly Island?
Oh, no, I was just going to say that Northerly Island is like an amphitheater type venue in a way.
Yeah,
in a little way.
Yeah.
So in front of the stage, they had a pit area, which is the tickets we purchased. And then behind that was just folding chairs. And then behind that was a VIP, up on stilts or risers. Yeah. So that you are viewing down over everybody.
And so that was on stage stage left, the VIP section was.
And then on the other side is stadium seats.
Yeah, GA stadium seats. But I don't know if they were GA or not. I can't remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We didn't buy those tickets.
We didn't know.
But so I think they should have just turned the whole floor instead of having folding chairs into a floor.
I'm seeing this more and more lately. I noticed it for the first time last year with the in Peoria with Megadeth and Lamb of God and Trivium, where half of the floor was the GA pit and the other half was a seated area on the main floor, right? And then it was the same way this year at Hogfest. Yeah. It was split into that way. And I don't know why it's done this way, other than it makes the floor look a little more fuller. Otherwise, everybody's going to push to the front, and the back looks pretty empty. We've seen that with several shows, like especially the Metallica movie we went to, and like looking around when they do the zoom out shots, the floor looked very empty.
Yeah.
But those were also like not very good viewing spots.
Yeah,
too.
and it reminds me of like the 40th though. It was almost the same, where everybody's just pushed towards the stage and then that back was empty. Where
the people are, it's very dense, but out toward the back, it's very empty looking.
Anyways, I didn't like how the venue was set up.
Yeah, so Northerly Island, they've had festivals out there. A lot of times that's where festivals will be, or not a lot of times, but...
You went to a festival out there.
I went to a festival. I think they do like Lake Shake. Is that where the country festival is?
Maybe.
But you can have 4 or 5 stages out there. I think they have one we had, which is like the main stage when there's a festival, and then there's like this little hangar thing that they just throw a tarp over, and that becomes another stage. And then there's room for a few on like open stages that aren't covered potentially. And really cool grounds, I think, like very big. If you're going to have a festival, this is where I think a festival would be a lot of fun to have.
A good area for a festival. And it's right by the lake too, which is really cool.
Good views of downtown, so it's like it makes for good photo ops. I mean,
sure. The stage takes up the view of the downtown, so
for where we were by the pit. But if you were back in that VIP section or on the GA, like you have the better angle to see downtown.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, this setup I wasn't the biggest fan of either. It was basically a parking lot that they turned into the seated area, because it was all, like you said, level. And then they put the seats down and they brought in like the stadium seatings to have there. I also did not enjoy it. I thought I don't know, it felt big but small at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain.
I felt like it was very small. Like the whole thing was what do you call that? Like the whole like stage area and everything. Well, the stage was big, but like everything else is really small. Like the pit was small. Even the seats behind the pit was small. Like that area is small. The rised seats were really small. And the VIP, whatever. I don't know. It's VIP. Those are normally small.
Yeah, those are smaller areas too. Yeah.
I felt like there was more area because like as you walk in, there's like the merch, but then there's all these like food stands, and they did have like a museum thing for ghosts that we didn't do.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was called, like the Spillway Lounge or some
maybe.
kind of lounge area.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you got with the VIP.
Yeah. So, but I felt like that whole walk-in area where like all the food and everything was bigger than the whole stadium area.
So I remember walking in, and it didn't really occur to me like how big it was. I thought it was fine. It was small. I thought it was small at the time. It was quick to like get over to where the stage was. It seemed very big and long when you're walking out.
Yeah, and very slowly.
You're walking very slow, and you're like, did we seriously pass all these concessions? Because that's what it was. It seemed like a fair, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where just like, as you said, just a line of food, a line of vendors, and vendors being like the food and drink vendors, not like you see at a festival with like merchandise. And
whatnot.
No. So I felt very big when we were going out, and I don't know if that was just because we were like doing the stutter step kind of walk or what, but maybe. I don't know. It was kind of cool that you can like turn this parking lot into this kind of cool little maze and the stage and all of that. But yeah, everything else was very small. And I think where I think it felt big is just because you're outside and you have like
possibly
no walls to like, when you're in like a stadium, even like, okay, there's the final seat over there. I can see the edge of it. There is technically no edge of this because it keeps going and going.
Yeah, I guess.
So I think that's where it felt big. But yeah, it did also feel very small to me in terms of the number of people that were there. I think somebody, like one of the bands said something like, there's 4,000 of you here or something. Or maybe that was
that at that show? We've seen 3 shows since this show.
We have, yeah. So. I don't know. And I noticed this as we said, we went to all 3 of these ghost tours so far. I don't think they're going to do like a post.
I hope they do.
I don't. We'll get to that at the end, but I kind of don't. But it seems like it's gotten smaller and smaller with each one we've gone to.
That's true. Yeah. Because the first one seemed, which was at Allstate in January of 2022, and it seemed very large stage, large attendance and everything. And even, I mean, it was still kind of COVID-ish
Just
era.
coming out of
especially in Chicago, like we wore masks the whole time. A lot of people were wearing masks and stuff. But I still felt like that was a very large crowd for that show. And then the Rush Center, again, I thought was a small venue, but large crowd.
Yeah, large crowd, small, like, and that's also what I'm trying to say too.
Oh,
is the
like
crowd and the venue.
It keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Allstate was larger. Then you go to the Rush Center, and it was a little bit smaller. And then you come here, and it's just a little bit smaller than that. So it's like it's slowly trickling down.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And I thought the name of the Pre-Imperatour was really cool because the new album hadn't come out. The Imperia album hadn't come out yet. And I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then and I also don't think they had toured in a few years because of obviously COVID and whatnot. So I think a lot of people are just like, fuck yeah, let's go check this out. And then just a few months later, then they do the Imperator, hitting different spots because obviously we had to go to Green Bay to see that. They didn't come down around this area.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then now they're back in proper Chicago. This is our first time seeing them in proper Chicago.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Just that kind of like observation of it getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until you just said it now. So I don't know.
Yeah. Anything else, I guess, about the venue and the setup that you want to bring up before diving straight into the sets?
No, for us, it was really convenient where it was because we're within some walking distance to the venue. So
I mean, we're in the city.
Yeah.
And even if we weren't like as close as we are to this, like public transit, it's super easy to get to from like the Red Line and all of that.
Yeah. I do know that there was I don't think it was this show. I can't remember, but in like a Facebook group, somebody was complaining that it was at Northerly Island. I don't think it was this show though, but I don't know what other show, unless we were supposed to see Lamb of God there last year, I think.
Last year we were, yeah.
And that might be where I actually saw it, that it was here. And I kind of get it. Like if you are in the suburbs, it would be like us going to Tinley Park where we're like, God damn it, it's going to take us an hour to get there. Like it's not convenient for us, where Northerly Island for some people probably isn't convenient.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Soldier Field is right by Soldier Field, which is super easy to get to off of the I guess if you're coming from the south.
Yeah.
I guess if you're coming from like the north, not so much.
No.
I was thinking coming from the south because you can just get it right on Lakeshore and get right off right away.
Yeah.
And there's parking down there. I hear it's really expensive parking, so that kind of sucks. But I mean, parking at a venue is always expensive. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
I can see that. Yeah, and that's a complaint we have with going out to Tinley Park for sure. Right? Is fuck, this is going to be a pain in the ass to get out to and come home from.
Yeah.
And because you could take public transit, but the metro stops before.
Yeah, it stops before the concert's
so
over.
Weird
yeah,
that they do that.
Yeah,
like,
we ran into that and then paid like $100 for an Uber back. So
yeah, that was not a good time.
No, not at all. Anyways, let's get into the music.
Yeah, let's get into the music. So as we said,
I feel like I'm negative right now.
Are you? Why?
I don't know. Like I just felt like that was a negative comment that I had about Northerly Island.
Whatever. I mean, yeah, whatever. As we said, opened with Amon Amarth. Short set, only played 9 songs.
Very, very short. So I guess we could get into it. Whatever. I'll just say it right now. But I thought since it was like just the two bands and they were like co-headlining, and especially since it was just two bands, I was like, oh, Amon Amarth will probably play for an hour and 15 minutes and Ghost will play for an hour and a half or something like that, But that's not what we got.
Yeah, and I was really hoping for the same thing, like an hour and a half, an hour 20, hour and a half is what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
We didn't mention this. We kind of mentioned it, but for the very first one at Allstate with Ghost, it was also a co-headlining show with Volbeat.
Oh, yeah.
And Twin Temple. Twin Temple played for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And Volbeat comes on and put on about an hour and a half set. It was a long set they played.
Right.
And I was kind of shocked at how long their set was. It's like, I know you're co-headlining, but damn, this is like an actual headlining set. I was not expecting that. I don't know what your thoughts were at that point.
At Volbeat?
Yeah.
I don't remember being shocked or not. I don't know. I don't remember having a feeling about how long they were playing for.
Okay, but that sort of like gave me the thought of how long Amon Amarth would pay for.
Okay.
So it was like a comparison of last time Ghost did a co-headlining show with somebody, they played for this, so therefore Amon Amarth will play for this as well.
Yeah. I guess in my mind I was just like, oh, there's only two bands, so hopefully this happens.
Yeah.
But
But why don't you read off the set list for us and we'll
Sure.
dive into it.
So they opened with Raven's Flight, followed by Shield Wall, followed by Hadron, Deceiver of the Gods, Put Your Back into the Ore, The Way of Vikings, Guardians of Asgard, Raise Your Horns, and then they ended with Twilight of the Thunder God.
Pretty standard that we've seen.
Yeah.
I think when we saw them up in Aragon last year, they also opened with Raven's Flight and I think Shield Wall.
No, Shield Wall was later on because I remember.
Oh, yeah.
That was like in the middle. But I think Guardians of Asgard was further up on the bill.
Maybe, yeah. I know Raise Your Horn and Twilight of the Thunder God are the last two. They always do.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me. I always think Raise Your Horn is going to be the last one, but it's always Twilight of the Thunder God.
Yeah, because he has to like fight
with the serpent, the Kraken coming up.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. Put Your Back in the Ore was in the set again. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Like when we saw them at Argonne, we didn't do the whole get down on the floor and row, but we did here. I didn't think it would. I mean, from the floor, it doesn't look that cool. But maybe from like the stage, or like if somebody did like an aerial view, or like somebody in the stands taking a photo or something, it would look cool. But from the ground, like I was gonna film it or whatever for like Instagram, but I was just like, this looks stupid.
Just filming from the ground.
Yeah. Like, because it doesn't look that cool because you're just like, the 5 people around you are rowing. That's all you see. Really.
I guess, unless you like put your hand up and.
That's true. I could have done that or something, but.
I'm sure we'll see him again. We'll have more opportunities to do it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying like anything about like not doing it. I'm just saying like we didn't do it at Argonne, and it seemed pretty cool. But that just started. Like the whole row thing kind of just started when we went to Argonne.
Yeah, that was their first single. Wasn't even on the album.
No, I know it wasn't on the album.
I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
It came out like right before that tour started.
Yeah.
That song. So yeah.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah, I was just.
Okay.
I was giving context as to why it had just started.
Oh,
I guess,
okay.
Because the song had just come out.
Okay.
I guess. Sorry.
Okay. Anyways, but at Aragon, when like we were just standing up, it kind of looked cooler from like a stand-up position versus being down.
There weren't that many people, I don't think, doing it. Like around us, there were quite a few, and I think we took a video of that. But
I felt like there was a lot in the middle.
In the middle, yeah, but then like in the front and in the back, I don't think there were any. It was all in the middle where like the pit was anyway. It was basically everybody in the pit and around the pit sat down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of cool to see and do it. Like that was our first time doing it, and it was fun just to be involved.
You thought it was fun?
It was. I like Spit It Out from Slipknot.
Oh, okay.
A lot. I love doing that. Not so much now because my knees hurt like shit when I do it, especially because it's at the end of the concert all the time, and by then my knees are hurting like fuck anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I love doing it. It's so much fun, but I'm old. My knees are shit, and because I'm like clearly not in shape and all that fun shit, right? But it's so much fun to like be involved and just get into the music and whatever. Like if you think it looks stupid, you think you look stupid, or you think it's not going to be fun, just do it. Get involved. It's so much fucking fun. And this was the same way. It was like, this is just fun. I
guess we both have different perspectives.
Yeah.
I thought it looks cooler. Like when they were in Milwaukee a couple nights before, there was a video of that and it looked really cool. But then for us to do it, I'm just like, eh.
Because you're not really, at that point,
you're not viewing
it, right? Yeah. You're taking part in it.
Yeah, that's true.
It is fun to view it. Like, same thing with Slipknot, right? When they do Spit It Out and then get the fuck up, and you, as you're viewing it, like, as
jump the fuck up. Don't you know Slipknot?
Jesus, same goddamn thing. The crowd just jumps, and then the whole thing is like shaking back. Like, it's so cool to watch it from like a distance.
Yeah, for us to do it, it's like,
but it's so much fun to be involved. We have to get up
now.
Right. It's very slow getting up. No. But it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So going into it, there's clearly a lot of Ghost fans.
Oh yeah.
Very few Amon Amarth shirts, which was a little disappointing. I was like, fuck, Amon Amarth. Amon Amarth is so much different music than Ghost. So I wasn't sure if Ghost fans knew who Amon Amarth was.
Maybe.
Because it is so different. I can see some people being like, oh, that's not my kind of music. And then going to a live show and seeing a band for the first time, like, oh, this is actually really good. But So I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't see a lot of support for Amon Amarth in terms of shirts. It seemed like a lot of the people were there for Ghost. And there was even one point before Amon Amarth came on where everybody had these like little poppy dolls and like everybody just shoved them in the air, and they're like 100 of these things in the pit just like in the air, and it was kind of fun to watch and kind of cool to see. But there were a few people who were really into Amon Amarth, and there's one guy who came dressed up as a Viking, which was really cool. We were chatting him up a little bit beforehand. And you even encountered a few women earlier that day walking to work who were wearing Ghost shirts and really into Ghost. And you asked them about Amon Amarth.
Yeah, they didn't know, or they'd never seen Amon Amarth. I don't know if they knew about Amon Amarth, but they said that they've never seen them.
But they did say they were looking forward to one thing, right?
The row, put you back into the war.
So they knew of that at least. And
I think most people, we don't, but I think a lot of people look up, like we used to anyways,
that's fair,
look up a concert or like look up the set list or look up the bands and that sort of thing. We don't anymore. We go in blind, but well, not much anymore. We don't. There's a lot of times we're like, oh, we've seen 2 or 3 of these bands before. Sometimes not, but.
The last show we went to, Lorna Shore. I really struggle with that name for some reason. You knew of them. I didn't know them. Yeah. But yeah, that's very true. We do approach it differently than I think a lot of people do, where we go in blind. We like not having the knowledge of who we're going to see.
Yeah.
And just have the live performance be our first impression, which has its advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. Like it kind of sucks not knowing, like, okay, I know this song. I know when to be excited. I know what the singing part is. Yeah. But yeah.
So for this show, obviously it's summer in Chicago, and it was not dark when Amon Amarth went on.
No.
Did that change your perspective of the concert?
Not really, because our very first time seeing them was at open air in the sunlight.
Yeah.
And that performance was so fucking awesome that I was like, whatever.
You don't really care. Yeah. It was something that I realized, and I know that we've talked about this, and I know a lot of people talk about it, is like, especially with festivals, like seeing a band in the middle of the day is kind of different than, I mean, this wasn't the middle of the day. It just wasn't dark. But I felt like since we'd last seen the Amon Amarth at Argonne, where it is dark in there or whatever, that this was a little bit, it was the same setup, but it was a little bit different of a show just because like the lights and stuff.
Yeah, it was a little different. And I think some bands are affected by this more than others. I don't think Amon Amarth really is, because their performance and their stage setup is the same in the dark. You get a little bit extra with the darkness. Ghost is another one we first saw at open air in the sunlight. I think that would be weird as shit, seeing a Ghost show in the sunlight. Like, that's weird. I think seeing a Mastodon show in the sunlight.
Oh, that would be weird.
Would be weird. But Lamb of God, Amon Amarth, like, these are bands that I could see in the sunlight or in the dark and essentially get the same show. The dark will give you a little bit more of the aesthetic of the lighting and whatnot, but that's just adding on top of it, which was already a good show. Not saying that Ghost in the sunlight isn't a good show. It's just the darkness helps it with the performance that much better, I think.
Why do you say that about Ghost and Amon Amarth?
Because of the imagery. I think the
like on the back?
Yeah, I think like the stained glass windows would be a little different.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So, yeah. I think, like I said, some bands affected more than others. But, yeah. Any other songs here real quick? Hedron, The Goat.
Yeah.
That was, again.
That's new, right?
That's off the new album.
Yeah, that's what I
thought. Again, like, if you didn't know that song, at least, you know, they come out and they're like, all right, when I say the goat, you say Hedron. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah. And they just, but I think that they recently had released like a music video or something of.
Oh, he did say that. Yeah. I forgot about that.
You haven't seen that?
I haven't watched the video. No. I really don't watch the videos that often.
Yeah. I mean, I don't either. I just see it on, I've never watched the video. I just saw it on Instagram that they did it. So.
I guess I really don't scroll through Instagram either that often. So.
Oh, maybe you should.
Maybe I should. Deceiver of the Gods, that's, you know, Loki comes out all dressed up. That's kind of cool. The Way of Viking, this is the fight, the Viking fight, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, you're kind of going through the songs, but I guess they kind of did play, like, their main songs, without. It's almost like going back to the festival, kind of like a festival show where you play like kind of your main songs because you don't have that long of a set, and then where like when we saw them at Aragon when it was their headlining show, there's a lot more like filtered in.
Yeah, a lot more songs, a lot more crowd interaction. There was a decent amount of crowd interaction. The stage setup was really cool. They had the 2 statues on the side, and then your helmet with the eyes as LED lights that would like change, which was really cool, I thought. I like their stage setup a lot. The first time we saw them, they were on the boat.
Yeah, I like the boat.
I think it had like a serpent head or a dragon head coming out, and it would like shoot fire out of the nostrils. Like that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
And then Raise Your Horns. They they thanked Three Floyds for bringing the beer. I don't know if that was only in the VIP. I didn't see Three Floyds in any of the bars I went to. But Amon Amarth has done a few collabs with
Three Floyds. Okay.
So that was really
sense.
cool.
That makes sense.
Every time they announce Dark Lord Days, Three Floyds announces Dark Lord Days, they also do a concert. At least they're doing it again because of COVID. They had to stop that. Last year was the first time. But when they announced the concert, I'm like, it'd be really awesome if Amon Amarth comes. You already do a collab with them. Dark Lord Days, it's like Viking themed. Like, come on, let's.
Is Dark Lord Days Viking themed?
Well, it's got like the Viking on the. At least it looks like a Viking to me.
Okay.
But yeah, really good set. I love the set. It was just very shorter than I wanted.
I was really disappointed when they played Raise Your Horns because I think they've only been on for like 42 minutes. And I was just like, oh, it's over.
Yep.
Like, I think I even like looked at you and I'm like, 45, like, because we don't talk, but like I was like 45, like, what the fuck's going on here?
I don't remember when. It was probably after Put Your Back into the Oar, The Way of Viking. But the guy we were talking to earlier who was dressed up as sort of a Viking was saying, I really hope there's a pit. They say no pits or moshing or crowd surfing on the tickets, so I really hope there's a pit. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure there will be. There really wasn't up until about that point, and then it opened and he was like leading the charge. And I think that's another thing that like led me to, as it was playing, like, oh, the people here aren't here to see Amon Amarth, they're here for Ghost. And
yeah, you don't really pit during Ghost.
You don't, no. But a lot of people did start pitting, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, short set, which is very disappointing.
Yeah, I don't get excited for very many shows, and this one I was excited for, but then after Amon Amarth got done, I was like, oh, that was short. Yeah,
and this is where I start to like get a little irritated that night because it's like, fuck, $170, and then you tack on fees and tax, $200 a ticket.
Yeah, it was over $200 a ticket.
Right, and it's like, what the fuck, really? Yeah. I was disappointed at that point for sure.
Yeah, but let's move on to Ghost.
Yeah, moving on to Ghost. You want to read off the set list here real quick for this before dumping into it?
Sure. They opened with Kaiserion, followed by Rats, From the Pinnacle to the Pit, followed by Spillways, Circle, Absolution, Ritual, Call Me Little Sunshine, Call Me Little Sunshine, Conclavi Con Dio. Is that how you say that? Conclavi Con Dio?
Conclavi Con Dio. I would something like that.
Okay. Followed by Watcher in the Sky, Year Zero.
Oh my gosh. Spooksnots.
This is a Swedish word, but spooksnots?
Spooksnots.
I don't know what that is. Is that when they just jam?
I think that's, like the...
Like they jam or whatever? Yeah. Followed by He Is, Maisma. Is that how you say that? Maisma?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Followed by Mary on the Cross. I always say the cross. Mary on a Cross. Respite on the Spitalfields. The encore was Kiss the Goat, Dance Macabre, and Square Hammer.
Yeah, so again, third time seeing them. Very similar to the previous sets.
Very similar. Yeah, I think I even looked up when we saw them in Green Bay, and it was not the same, but almost the same.
Yeah, so the first time we saw them, I think we got Mary on a Cross, and we didn't get Kiss the Goat. And then we saw them in Green Bay, and we got Kiss the Goat and not Mary on a Cross. And And then there were also like 3 or 4 other songs we were able to add to the playlist because again, we had seen them previously in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a pretty standard set. If you haven't seen Ghost, it's so fucking awesome. Like it is a really, really good show.
It is, yeah. I mean, I guess to me, it's not just the music is very dancey and very fun to listen to. Not even like if you're not into metal, like I think it's like a really good like dance metal.
Yeah, it's really questionable if this is even metal or just like rock, but it's so much fun. It's so good, and like even the live performance is just adds on top of the music and the lyrical content.
Yeah, yeah, and even with the with Poppy's costumes or wardrobe changes, whatever you want to say, like with the Pope robes and I don't know, he has like bat wings and different jackets that he wears, and he just dances around. It's just so much fun to watch the show even, and then the ghouls in the background just playing their instruments, but also dancing and having some fun banter and stuff.
Yeah, and like it's so Spillways came on, or From the Pinnacle to the Pits ended, and there was a guy next to us, and he like taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Fucking Spillways," and it was Spillways, and he was fucking into it, having so much fun. He was there with another individual, and he had gone to go to the bathroom or get a beer or something, and then he came back right around Spillways and tapped on the shoulder, and he's like, "I'm gonna head out. You stay here. I'm gonna bounce." And he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, This just really isn't my thing. This isn't my music. No, it's like you gotta stay. You gotta stay. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go. I can't.
I didn't see any of that happening.
I don't know if he left or not. But the other guy was having a blast, and when he tapped me on the shoulder, it's like Spillways, and it came on. He's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." He's also like, "Man, this is so fucking awesome. They are the next Alice Cooper, or no, Marilyn Manson. They're the next Marilyn Manson."
Okay.
And to some extent, I agree. Like, they get it. They get what live music is supposed to be. That it's not just the music. You're putting on a show, and that's what they're doing. There's a show to this. There's a story behind it. And like you said, the little banters back and forth with the ghouls. So much fun because they'll come out in the middle, and like when they have their guitar solos, and they'll stand in the center of the stage where there's usually like a little walkway where Poppy will come out to. It's sort of pulpit where he's going to come out here and preach, right? Because it is very satanic temple-y kind of themed. Yeah. And during those, Poppy will go back and like do whatever he does, right? Dance around and whatnot, and the ghouls will come out, do their solo, and then Poppy will turn around like, "Fuck no, that's where I stand. That's my spot. I'm the goddamn priest. I fucking stand there. I'm the pope. Fuck you." And he'll go up there and like drag them back to their spots, and even like one of them, he like grabs the back of their head and like just nods your head like headbang. And then stay here.
There's one part that I didn't notice that I saw at Green Bay and at Rosemont where like one of the ghouls back in the back, it might be the keyboardist. I can't remember, but like it's supposed to do like the whole dance thing like this.
Oh,
I didn't see that this time.
I did. I think it's the not the keyboards, but maybe
the tambourine.
The tambourine.
Tambourine. Yes.
There's 2 keyboardists, I think. Like, I don't know if they go back and forth or what, but one of them also has a tambourine, and they just, like, rock the shit out of that tambourine. Yeah. That's the only thing I remember from open air. We were pretty far back, so we didn't get a good glimpse. But I saw the one ghoul just with the tambourine just constantly. Yeah. I was like, it's the cowbell scene from Saturday Night Live, sure, but with a tambourine. Like, just, I got my one thing, and I'm fucking going for it. Like, it's so much fun. Yeah. And then, like, when Poppy like brings the ghoul back and like, "Fucking, this is what you do. You don't do anything else." And then Poppy will turn around and walk away, and the ghoul's just like, "Fuck you, asshole." Like all this little banter, and all, like you pick up on these little things. It's so much fun.
This would not be a show that I would want to see in the stand. Like if we're at a stadium, like in the stands where you can't really see the stage that well. I definitely want to be on the floor, because there's so much going on that you like. Even at this show, they had the screens on the sides where they were like showing what was going on.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
But the screen is showing what the person with the camera wants you to see. Yeah. So you're missing stuff. So I think that this is a show that you want to be in the pit area. Yeah. Or somewhere where you can see, either in the front.
The rows, first like 100 section, close to where you can see. Like
very close to the stage, not in the back of the stadium though.
I think this is one I would like to sit in a seat for.
Oh, really?
I would be perfectly fine sitting in a seat for this because it is the show that you're there to see. Like, I'm there to see the show. Like, you'll get some vibe from the crowd, but there's, like you said, there's not moshing, there's not crowd surfing or anything like that. So you'll get a little bit of the movement from the crowd as they like dance back and forth and whatnot, right? You'll get that in the dance. You'll get that in the seats though too.
Yeah.
So
I like to move around and dance. So
yeah.
I guess I don't think I don't know. I don't like stadium seats. That's all I had to say.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, this is one where it's like, all right, this is an acceptable one for me to sit in a seat for and watch.
Yeah. Maybe I would probably sit if I was at like the Aragon or like the Rave up in the seats or something,
like
in the balcony area. But I don't think I'd want to sit in the stadium seats for just because of what I said. Like,
not if you can get like level 100 really, really close to the stage.
Maybe
then. I don't know. We might try it sometime and see.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I want to take my aunt to a show and we'll definitely get seats if we do that. But yeah, it'd have to be really close to the stage. But for what I was saying, like I want to be able to see what's going on and not see what the camera wants me to see.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I think you would have enjoyed the seats because you can see the stage instead of in the crowd. Sometimes you can't see and you have to like move around to try to find a spot to see because you're shorter and whatnot.
A little shorter.
But I don't know. I love it. And like you mentioned the wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
The costume changes. We've seen bands that do this really, really poorly. And we've seen bands that do it really well. This is a band that does it flawlessly.
Yes.
Like,
because
it's so good.
When he's changing, especially when he changes into the Pope robes, that's where the dueling guitar thing's happening on the stage. So you aren't even realizing that Poppy's not there. Like, at least in my mind, you don't, because you're just watching the dueling guitars go back and forth.
And they bring out the previous Poppy, or whatever his name is. It's not Poppy. They're not all Poppies. It's like pulps, right? When you get a new pulp, you get a new name. And so they're...
It's like Poppy the first.
I don't think
so.
Second. I think Poppy the Fourth is just the title he took on. Sort of like Pope Benedict the 12th or whatever the fuck. His just happened to be, I think they have different, I can't remember what the names are, but I think they are a little different. I thought they were Poppy 1, 2, and 3 also, but I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But whatever the previous one was, they wheel him out in like a sarcophagus type thing and then revive him and then shoot off sparks. And then as he comes up as like a zombie, they hand him a saxophone, just starts playing the sax, and it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do you have anything else about this that you want to bring up? Like I said, we've done an episode on Ghost already. Fucking phenomenal show. Definitely check it out.
We have 2 episodes on Ghost, don't we? Oh, no, just one. Yeah, because we didn't do one. Or we weren't doing the podcast in early 2022. So, yeah.
It's actually our second episode, the first Ghost.
Oh, really?
Yep.
We'll have to link it. Was it bad?
It probably was. I don't fucking know.
You kept saying Roach Center.
Roach Center. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really bad with names, so... anything else though for this that you want to bring up? I have one other thing if you don't, but
no, go ahead with what you were going to say.
Just the encore bit where he comes out and again have like a little sequin dress. And he's like, "This is my after party dress. They told me you weren't fucking leaving. I have a party to get to. What the fuck are you doing here?" And like opens his shirt and like stitched inside is like "fuck off." Like,
oh, is that what it said? I couldn't see what it said. Yeah, I just knew everybody like screamed or whatever.
Yeah,
so
it was either like "fuck off" or "fuck you." I think it was like "fuck off."
Okay,
but that was kind of funny. But you know, the typical encore things, like, we have time for one more song, we'll play one more. And somebody's like, two more. He's like, you want 2 more? And then somebody else is like, 3 more. And he's like, do you want 3 more? I think they knew the set list. They knew that we're getting 3 songs for an encore.
Yeah. Well, you did get 3. Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of seeing Avatar,
yeah.
Where Johannes comes out and he's like, we'll play one more song for you. And they're always like, no, more. We want more. He's like, all right, how about 2? All right, I can't remember if the next person said 3 or if they're like 5.
They said 10, I think.
Oh, 10?
Yeah,
okay.
And then he's like, you're greedy.
You're greedy. Fuck you. You get none. You get no songs now. And he starts like pretending to walk off stage, and everybody like, no, one. We'll just take 1 more, please. He's like, all right, we'll do 2. And they play 2. Same thing here, where it's like, well, how many do you want? And honestly, the crowd's like, play everything in your catalog, and then play it all again for us, please.
Yes, yeah.
And again. Like, let's just live here and have you keep playing music for us. That's all we want. But it was kind of fun. It's bands always do this. It's nothing new, but it was a fun little banter. I do like his crowd interaction. Tobias, or Poppy, Tobias, whatever you want to say, has a very, very good lead performance or lead persona. Yep.
To be that person. So I agree. That makes or breaks the show sometimes on like how the lead is.
Yep. And all the ghouls get into it too. Like like I said, they're like we said, they're going back and forth. They're being drug all over the place by Poppy because they're acting out of line. They're trying to be too bigger than they are, type thing. I don't know. It's such a good live show. But I was very disappointed.
Oh, hold on. Before you get to your disappointment, one thing I noticed on this show, which I'm not sure if they did, if this happened in Green Bay or not, but with the background, how it went from like the popes and then it started turning into demons. And like by the end, it was like basically like the popes are demons.
I didn't see it.
Is that a new background?
I didn't take it that way.
Oh, okay.
But I saw the beginning. I didn't see it slowly change. I didn't notice it completely change until the encore.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or sometime
I noticed it
there.
like a little bit before the encore that it was like, oh, now there's demons coming down like out of the stained glass. Or, like they were at the top and like not coming down, but like at the top there was demons.
In the stained glass, like in the sky, there's like a demon and then like the pictures of the different pulps.
Mm-hmm. And the pulps were changing. Like, but I don't know when I don't know when it like changes.
Okay, I didn't catch it changing. All I saw was like I thought it was the same image all over and over. Really cool imagery again. This stained glass look. At the end, I just saw in the center like basically Satan, and then a bunch of other like demons out and about. And I thought it was more of like you go to a cathedral and you see stained glass and you're seeing like Jesus and the apostles and other shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just took this as like Satan's here and then these are just imageries supporting Satan. I didn't see them like coming down or anything.
I think
like
they
that.
like change into demons through the.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
And I guess I didn't take it as like the popes are turning into demons. I took it more of like this is our God is here type thing.
I mean, yeah, we could have different theories, but yeah.
No, yeah. I did notice that and I forgot about that. That was really cool.
Yeah, I just don't remember seeing that in like I don't think that they had that in Green Bay though.
I think they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
They've had that I think at all the shows we've seen. Because I think that's a pretty standard background for them
I think it is too, but I don't remember seeing that part. That's all I was saying.
No, how it changed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that previously either. I bet it did, and we just didn't pick up on it.
But even, I mean, Green Bay was different because Green Bay, like for Kiss the Goat, had like a goat thing on the back and stuff. Yeah. I think it was different in Green Bay.
And they could have had here too. Or that could have been this way here too.
I don't remember seeing the goat at all.
I don't either. All I'm saying is like maybe it did and we just didn't notice it type thing.
Okay. I did look though during Kiss the Goat because I remember that from Green Bay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, disappointments.
Yeah, the price for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
The venue was meh. It is what it is. The sound we didn't really talk about this with the venue. I thought the sound was fine. It just seemed quiet. It seemed too quiet to me. And I think that was probably just because it's outside. You don't get the effects of an enclosed space with the sound just being louder.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that loud either. Now that you say it, like I don't remember thinking anything about it, but yeah.
And I think I was just like very disappointed that I'm nitpicking at everything at that time. But I was disappointed in the price. I was disappointed in, again, it felt very large because I think I'm outside. But then when you look around, it's like, oh, this is actually very small. Yeah.
I could tell. So I was really excited for this, but I could tell like when we got there and even when like Amon Amarth was playing and stuff, you were disappointed.
I was because I kind of knew.
I could tell on your face.
I was super excited to be there and I think I was setting myself up for disappointment, honestly. I mean, I'm a Cubs fan after all, so like everything is a disappointment. And I was like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. This is going to be a horrible show, horrible night. And it wasn't by any means. It was just the price you paid and what you got for that money, to me, was not worth it. Yeah. Yeah. I felt like this was extremely overpriced. As we talked about, for $30 less, we got 6 more bands. 7
total bands.
7 total bands with 2 proper headlining sets.
Yeah.
And here we got 1 proper headlining set. So very disappointing in what we had to pay. And maybe that's, the time we're in, prices are going up. Ticket prices are going up. Like, we're not going to have the same ticket prices we had previously. Maybe this is just how things are going to be going forward.
But even going to Green Bay, I remember, like, if we go back and listen to that episode, I think we complain about the $99 price tag. So maybe it's Ghost that's bringing the high price tag.
I don't know. I mean, it's also like a Live Nation amphitheater where if you want the pit, you pay a premium price, which is fucking ridiculous.
It is stupid. Yeah, we have to do that coming up.
Yeah, and that's going to be a shitty show because of that same reason, I think. But from a music standpoint, from a crowd standpoint, all so fucking good. If you can see Ghost, definitely go check out Ghost. Yeah. Amon Amarth, same thing. They're so fucking awesome.
Both of them put on really, really good shows.
Yeah, and I was just excited to see both of them live together and have two proper headlining sets. And if Amon Amarth played for an hour and a half, I wouldn't have been as disappointed. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think we would have felt like we got more of our money's worth for that. But I agree with you there that we paid a lot for these tickets for a good show, but not for.
Yeah, and early on you brought up, I hope they do a post-Imperatour type thing, and I said I don't really want that. Part of me wants them to take a break and come back with new music.
That's true, because we've seen this show now 3 times.
Right. I don't need to see this show again.
Yeah.
If they come back to the area, we're going to get it because I have all the shirts. I want to complete the collection.
That's why I want them to do a post-Imperatour. Maybe when they have their new album, they do come back with new music, but they call it post-Imperatour.
Maybe. I don't know. The shirts are really cool. I really like the shirts, how like different imagery on the front, different color scheme. And the back is the continental US and then like the dates. And each one of those is a different color thing. Really cool. I like that a lot. But I don't need to see it again. If it comes to the area, we'll probably go to it. But I guess we're going to have to realize we're going to pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. We should go back and look to see what January was. But I know we bought those tickets really, really early because like nobody was announcing.
That was like the first show that announced in 2021. I think the lockdowns were still happening and shit, and they like announced super fucking early.
Yeah.
And we were like, yes, we're going.
Yeah. So we bought tickets really early, but yeah, I mean, I just don't see, this is going to sound really bad, but I don't see Ghost bringing that price tag. Like we don't even pay that for like Metallica.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, what's going on here that they're asking for so much? Well, we tried to look to see how much the tickets were.
Yeah, maybe look at credit card statements or something.
Oh, that's going to be hard.
It will be.
Because I don't know what month we bought them in. But that's anyways, whatever. I just, like I said before, we did that cut. But I just don't see that they're that level of a band too. I mean, they're a great band. I just don't want it to sound like I'm saying like they don't deserve that much money. It's just.
Yeah, if this was their first show in the last 2 years of them, yes. Our third time seeing them, So I guess that's one of the things, like 3 times in 2 years.
Yeah. I
don't need to see them a 4th time in 2.5 years, right?
Yeah.
I guess type of thing.
Yeah.
Seeing them in a festival, that'd be awesome. But I'd like some new music, take some time off. I don't know how long it takes them to come up with new stuff. And
I mean, they could be working on stuff in between.
They just had the EP of all covers, which was kind of meh. Which they played nothing off of that also.
Yeah, I guess.
Which was kind of okay, kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But whatever. So, I mean, it's fun. They have a lot of content in terms of their discography, what they have in their catalog. It's a great, great, great show. So definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I don't know.
I think the show aspect and how much fun I have like at the show is why I would say I would be going again if they come. But anyways,
go check out some live music. It's fucking awesome. These guys are awesome. Check them out. If you don't check them out, check out any live music. It's so fucking cool.
Yep. Bye.